What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday, September 20th. And so welcome into your daily dog takes. I'm your host, Jacob at Roaches13, joined by the awesome Eddie Mac. Eddie, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing, my guy?
Hey, we're here. We're here to talk this out, to talk through it together, and to move on after the Browns. You know what's so funny about that? After the 31-30 loss, it was actually interesting because I heard somebody in front of us say when the Jets scored, now we're going to overtime. Like, that Nick Chubb touchdown run was we thought it was over so bad. No one in that stadium knew Cade York missed that kick. Like, I swear to, at least not in my section. Like, the section I was in, not a damn one of them. The only reason I even realized it was I looked up. I think I was like taking a picture of the score or something. I looked up and it was 30-17. And then I was like, oh God. And I think like even then I knew, I was like, this is, so we're going to get into it, man. Let's talk about this. There's a lot to talk about, especially now that we have some press conferences from Monday. I want to ask you about as well, with some of the things that popped up about those sort of things and whatnot. So it's miscommunication, right? By now it's Tuesday. That's the hot button word. Everyone wants to talk about the miscommunication, which to me, it seems to be the only issue on defense. Like, I don't know that I'm not worried about talent. Now I'm worried about a lack of a free safety. You have three strong safeties on this team, and maybe Richard LeCount's a free safety, but you keep making him inactive, so we don't even freaking know about that. So I don't know. But the communication between the defensive backs seems to be where it is. I think the linebackers and the safety, or in the defensive line, is fine. I think some really good players are there. What is it, man? Is it more than that? Is it a coach problem? Is it a player problem? Where do you think this all starts for the defensive backfield?
I definitely think it's a coaching problem first, because there's no communication. How do you not have communication? And that does fall on the player, so it's not solely on Joe Woods. A lot of people want to make him to be the only scapegoat. He's not. Everyone on defense needs to, figure out how to talk to one another. It's weird to me they have two guys wearing the green dot. That's very odd to me. I've never really heard of that. And if I have, I didn't think much of it. Usually I would say that's like I think John Johnson wore it in LA.
Yeah.
And now he is one that is not wearing it, nor should he. It should be what's his face, Walker. But I think it's a lot more on Joe Woods, because he keeps scheming up these things, and I don't know how he's not communicating to his team, whether it's supposed to be cover 2, cover 3, whatever the hell the coverage is. I don't know if he's just saying the wrong thing, or he's not working on practice with these guys. I don't know what it is. But I wrote for Dawg Pound Daily, and you can find that on the page now, that they should reevaluate Joe Woods. A lot of people want him fired, myself included, and I don't really condone firing. That's sort of weird to me. But at the same time, they're in a business that's different than what like me and you work in. We work in a different field than what is the NFL. The NFL is a whole entire field in its own right. So he'd find a new job somewhere in football. It's not like he'd go homeless or anything, or he has no money. But with that said, the Browns need something. The cat comes, and she just keeps coming and coming. She was doing this earlier. She did this earlier, so it's annoying. But yeah, so with Joe Woods, what people want is they want to fire, and I said that on Twitter. I wrote about it, and the reality is they're not going to fire him on a short week. Had they not played Thursday night, okay, maybe Joe Woods is out. Maybe. Well, I don't know if Stefanski would do that. But it would be warranted, but not on a short week. If they come out and play it like shit, and they give up like a Joe Flacco game to Mitch Trubisky, then Woods might be in a little bit more of hot water. But and I did write that after I was still mad, I was still angry, and our guy Randy always says, instead of taking it out on Twitter, just take it to WordPress. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Like, he should be fired, because that's pathetic. And it's not just on him. The Bills are going to score again, or did score again. Whoops.
Yeah, we're watching the Bills and Titans as we record this.
Right. So I didn't know. I forgot about if we needed to say different time things. But yeah, they just scored again. Yeah, but yeah, Joe Woods. I don't know what's the deal with him. I don't know if he's not coaching these guys right, or if he's not as hard on these guys as some would like. Yeah, it starts with Joe Woods, but then the communication with the players. you guys are running the same scheme, and you guys are supposed to be boys, and you guys are so close, and you guys are supposed to be the unit that carries us till Deshaun Watson comes back, and you're supposed to be the one that keeps us in games, and hopefully Jacoby Brissett can take advantage of that. But yeah, here you guys are pointing fingers at each other. Newsom, Ward. Newsom didn't want to play the blame game. Ward said it wasn't me. Everyone not taking accountability. Anthony Walker's like, oh, that's on me. I didn't communicate properly. Myles Garrett, yeah, it's on him too. But just a pathetic defensive performance from all around. And, what's crazy is you were beating your chest in the group chat because they were only holding the Jets to 14 points and then 17 points. Okay, cool. We have 30 now. Well, that went to shit real quick.
Yeah, I've always been like a staunch Joe Woods defender guy, and I was defending him, and for a while I felt good about it, and then I was like, oh man, I can't do shit now. Like, I need to shut up. And I did. I even admitted I was wrong, and I apologized for being snarky about it this morning to a couple of the guys via text message. So here's my biggest issue with it. And what's really funny is this show being recorded on Monday night as opposed to if we had recorded this like yesterday, is that we have these press conferences that you've alluded to with Ward saying it wasn't my coverage, but I'll take the blame for it. But the problem with it is by saying it wasn't my assignment, they're clipping that part and not adding the part where he kind of stepped up as a leader and said, but I'll take, you know what I mean? Like, yep. It seems like a full-on chuck under the bus, and it is a chuck under the bus, but he did kind of try to take responsibility and reel it back. But once you put that out there, man, they're going to chop it up the way they want to chop it up. The thing that bothers me, that worries me, and I texted Randy today about it, and I was like trying to get anybody to talk me off of a ledge today, and it was this throwing under the bus thing happened last year, and it spiraled out of control, and it cost them more than they'll ever admit it did. And when I saw that today, I had PTSD flashbacks, man. I was like deja vu, like, oh my God. Are we doing this again? And for a brief second, and you know I'm the eternal optimist, and I will spin everything the way I can. But for a few hours today, I was worried the season was over. And it's not. We're here to tell you, both of us are here to tell you tonight that it is not. But there was a second there when I said, this has got to be nipped in the bud or it's going to spiral out of control, because it spiraled out of control last year because you had two people in Baker and OBJ and you could only get rid of one. I mean, that was what it ended up being, right? Like, you could only get rid of one and one of them stayed and that fracture stayed. Now, you go and Trump and just spank the Steelers on Thursday. I don't think anybody's going to give a shit. No. But until then, and if it goes bad on Thursday, man, it is going to be bad. I will tell you that if they lose on Thursday, I am not sure how I'm optimistic after that. Like, I'm not sure how that – I mean, granted, I get it. There is so much football left to be played after Thursday. There goes Malik Willis. He should have been playing the whole time, man. Should have been playing
the whole time.
But most of the time.
Well, in this game, sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But anyway, I'm sorry, guys. But, I mean, this game may have a lot of effect on the end of the year if they come down to needing one extra win. But the landscape of the AFC right now is up for grabs. I'm not sure New England's a very good team. I didn't think they were good to start the year. They're kind of showing you they're not that good. They're 0-2.
No.
They're not. They beat Pittsburgh. Sorry.
Come on now. We can't go and have the Steelers getting wins on here.
Yeah, we can't. That's me. That was on me. Sorry. But they didn't look good. They could be 0-2, I guess is my point. Miami is really interesting because like they looked like they weren't playing that well, and then they weren't playing that well. Justin Herbert might not be healthy, which could be a problem. You know, things like that. There's all of this stuff where it's up for grabs, and I think you've got the opportunity to right the ship. This is communication. Jake Burns keeps talking about Jeff Howard, the position coach. I don't know if they'll fire Joe Woods, but they may fire Jeff Howard. I mean,
that was someone else said that today too.
Yeah,
maybe Ken and Lima might have been on Ken and Lima.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's where I heard that because I don't listen to many podcasts about shit. I'm bad about listening to podcasts. I don't listen to my own podcasts. Like, I don't like to hear the sound of my own voice, so I won't ever hear myself unless it's like something, oh, let's play that. Okay. But yeah, you mentioned Baker a minute ago. He's not the scapegoat anymore. Last year, he was the scapegoat. Yeah. For better or for worse, he was the guy that divided the locker room. Maybe not him individually, but his polarizing figure, everything that came with him, everything that could have came in the future and then ended up coming. He's gone now. So the defense just needs to shut the hell up and just play football because all this other drama shit they said was Baker at the cause of it, and now Baker's nowhere to be found, and here's the same shit happening. And luckily, Anthony Walker is the guy that stepped in and was like, "No, that's my bad. I need to communicate way better." And that's veteran leadership. That's why Darius Leonard, or now Shaquille Leonard, was so upset when he left. The leadership there. He's not going to be like this great linebacker. He's not going to be like a Ray Lewis for us, but he's going to be that veteran presence that gets everyone like, "Hey guys, we're fucking good. Let's show it."
I was going to say that interesting that you bring Anthony Walker up, because I did just read an article from Corey Kinnan, who now is the managing editor over at the Browns Wire, and he was talking about Anthony Walker in his play. I will tell you, you say, well, I don't know what kind of linebacker he is. He has a 90.8 PFF grade this year so far. So I will point that out. He has actually been phenomenal. Keep me, Anthony. Like, I'm a big Jacob Phillips guy. I was, going into this year, but I'd like to see me some more of number 5 than I would anything else, because the dude's balling this year. But
see, he's the type of player you don't even notice that. Like,
no.
Because you can't notice that, because all you can think about right now is the secondary and how Corey Davis just burned us for a 66-yard pass, and then Joe Flacco, of all people, was carving us up left and right, and then the game winner, Garrett Wilson, a big fan of him. I think he's going to be great in the NFL, but come on, you have to know that. Like, where was that? He was virtually wide open. He just, boom, right there.
All day. He was wide. Garrett Wilson should have had 200 yards if he hadn't dropped a couple passes and Flacco didn't airmail a couple of passes. There was a couple plays I watched our defense celebrate, and I'm like, buddy, you got bailed by a bad throw there. I don't need to see no incompletion, because you didn't have a damn thing to do with that incompletion.
And you mentioned earlier with the secondary, and then the defensive line played well. They did, and they had, like, I think that was like the top 5 pressures, maybe the most pressures this week. I think Jake Burns was the one who I saw tweet that this morning. It might have been, I forget. I read a lot of people's tweets. And
me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, but pressures don't mean anything if the secondary is not doing shit. Yeah. But with the defensive line, played well, relatively well. Only 2 sacks, though, against a 37-year-old Joe Flacco and a bunch of backups on the Jets' offensive line. Like, come on now. Myles Garrett has to step up and make a play. He had the 1 sack. Great. He might get another one back-to-back like last week. Nope, he didn't. We didn't hear from him the rest of the game. And I know he's held every play. He's doubled every play. He's clipped every play. He's this every play. Great players find a way around that. Aaron Donald is in the middle of everything. He gets it done. TJ Watt is double and triple teamed. When he is healthy, he's making plays. Miles has to find a way to step up, and especially Clowney goes down, and then the pressure really fell back a little bit, and then there went the other edge. That should open up the whole lane for Miles, but he needs to step up and make plays. And the fact that he said that fans booing at the end was, disappointing, whatever the hell he said, that's a Baker-like comment. That is a Baker Mayfield comment, because why wouldn't you boo? If I was at that stadium, if I was you and sitting with you and I was there, I'd be booing the hell out of that for blowing a 13-point lead, 1:55 on the clock, and no timeouts. That's embarrassing.
I booed.
I'm glad you did. You should have booed.
Every
time, like, oh yeah, guys, we gave it a hell of an effort.
Great job blowing that lead with 2 minutes left, you dickheads. Yeah, right. Randy actually texted me almost exactly what you just said, Eddie, earlier. He was like, Miles just did what he called Baker out for doing. And I was like,
yes.
I was like, oh, yeah, he kind of did, didn't he? And I think, too, with the defensive line, like, you could tell Flacco was, like, not afraid of the defensive line because he was just getting the ball out. And there was somebody wide open every time. And I'm just thinking, like, press them. Just play a little bit of press, because all Miles and Clowney needed on a lot of plays were just half a second more. And if you just press him at the line of scrimmage and make Flacco hold on to the ball just a little bit more, you're able to convert on those things. And I think for all of their flaws, they got to the end of the game and it was 30-17. And you were like, listen, play a little prevent because there's 2 minutes and some change. Play a little prevent. They don't have any timeouts. Don't let them get out of bounds on every freaking play. Like, even if you're going to let up 5 and 6 yard gains, which I will add is part of the staple to Woods' system. He is a bend, not break, make them be perfect for 15 straight plays and try to get a turnover style of coach. And I like his scheme. The philosophy and the idea, when executed, I think can be, profitable, productive, whatever you want to call it. I think it can. But the problem is, I've got guys out there that don't know what type of coverage they're supposed to be in. And Grant Delpit says that play on the 66-yarder was a situation where they have 2 coverages called, and they have to make the checks based on the pre-snap read and decide if it's this coverage or if it's that coverage. It sounds like half of them decided it was this one and half of them decided it was that one. Joe, listen, I preached patience with everybody last year. I said, listen, Woods, give him a chance. Give him a chance like the offense needed a chance in 2020. He comes alive. Granted, he didn't play a ton of really talented defenses or offenses down the stretch outside of the Packers, but they came together. And I'm like, listen, all these guys, second year in the system, third years in the system, all these guys, they're coming back. They know each other. They're friends. They're buddies. Like you said, they're boys. They know everybody. It's going the ins and outs. They know what's happening here. And they just go out there, and I'm allowed to pretend the game's over. I'm a fan. You're not allowed to think the game's over when there's still time on the field.
Right.
Because
on the clock.
Because you did it. You fanned out on the field, and you got embarrassed. Jim Donovan called it the worst game he has ever called, ever seen, let alone called.
If he's saying that, I don't want to hear shit from anybody else that, oh, you weren't here for the 80s or you weren't here for this. No, shut up. That was embarrassing. That has not happened in, like, I forget, it was like 2,000 some games or something. And last time it happened, the Browns were on the receiving end of it again.
Yeah, it was the Dwayne Rudd Hummett game, yeah.
Like, come on now. But if he's saying that, then be quiet. But another thing in the game that we haven't talked about, please stop blaming Nick Chubb. For fuck's sake.
God.
Stop blaming Nick Chubb. How is he supposed to stop his momentum inside the 2-yard line?
How's he supposed to know they're going to let up a touchdown, an onside kick, and another touchdown in 2 minutes? How's he supposed to know that?
Not even 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Not even 2 minutes. It was just embarrassing is what it was. But so how's he supposed to know? And I saw some people trying to blame Cade York. Nope, not him either. He's going to miss. That he's not automatic. We want him to be. Obviously you want that extra point, and it's a 14-point game. It's probably tied. But with our luck, they would have went for 2, and Flacco would have found someone. So
they would have,
say for sure that, if Cade York doesn't miss that, then we're tied and we go to overtime and win it. No, that's not guaranteed either, because if Flacco gets the ball first, he's flinging it 60 yards down the field, and Johnson and Delpit are just like, who, me? You? Me? Which one? Yeah, like that. But there were 2 key plays, and Kareem Hunt is not a scapegoat either. But 2 key plays of Kareem Hunt gets big yardage, goes out of bounds the first time. So and then they get the ball, and then they have to call timeout before the 2-minute warning. And all he has to do is stay in bounds. But his momentum carries him out of bounds when he is hit. He tried. You can see him trying to tiptoe and trying to fall the other way, but he just got hit too much. Momentum carried him. And that was a difference maker there. Yes, they scored the touchdown not very long after that. I think it was on the very next play. But then that allowed the Jets to have some sort of life. And then that life kept true. But it's not anyone's fault on offense.
No.
That was – I don't know if this is for sure, but it's definitely one of the top games that Kevin Stefanski has coached in the NFL in his coaching tenure yesterday. I don't care if they lost it. That was one of his best performances as a head coach on offense, calling plays since he's been the coach of the Browns. And Jacoby Brissett did everything he was supposed to. He had 2 touchdown passes that were dropped. And by dropped, actually, Njoku's wasn't dropped. He was just out of bounds, as was DPJ. He bobbled it a little bit. Still 2 tremendous catches, 2 tremendous balls thrown. And that was 2 of his 5 incompletions right there.
I said this, I tweeted it. It was night and day, man. At one point, I thought I was a different quarterback. Like, I mean, I wrote a piece for Dawg Pound Daily about some offensive players that shined that will drop tomorrow. And I'm sure it'll go over like a fart in church because you're not allowed to be optimistic after a loss. But
yeah, we're about to be.
We're about to be. We're gonna. So I think I feel better. I don't know, man. Like I feel better getting all out there because I will say this. I think it's fixable. I think it's fixable. And I don't think anybody can convince me that it isn't yet. Not yet. Like maybe in a couple of weeks, if it's still a disaster, you can probably convince me then. But like you're telling me, because I've gone back and I'll have to watch the All-22 when I get the opportunity, but I will point out that I was up high enough that I kind of did watch the All-22 when it happened.
Right.
But I'll get that opportunity when it drops tomorrow night or Tuesday night, and I'll see what I can dig up from that. But you're telling me that if this defense is just where they're supposed to be, none of this happens. They beat both of those teams by double digits. If they're just where they're supposed to be, they don't even have to be exceptional. Just be where you're supposed to be and don't allow a 66-yard and a 75-yard touchdown in consecutive weeks on busted plays. And guess what? You're in first place.
Yep, you're still in first.
You still are.
Because the Ravens lost, which was awesome because they blew a big lead. I mean, that's not as bad as blowing a 13-point lead in minute 55. But it was pretty. You know what? A lot of people like you wanted to get on this and you want to talk about get it out of your system because now we're on to Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Normally, last year this loss would have pissed me off. I'd still be pissed about it. It would ruin my whole week before my week even started. Work would just be bad because I'm just like, God damn, like fuck. Now I'm just like, I don't even know if I can swear on the show. I think I can. I hope I can.
We already have, man. So if we can't, we're screwed.
Oh, you're right. But yesterday, I was mad. I wrote that piece about Joe Woods, and I was like, all right, felt a little bit better. And I was like, hopefully people read this. If they don't, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
And they did, and a lot of people did read it. So thank you for that. If you're watching this and also read that, thank you. But at some point in the day, I think it was just all the craziness of the NFL. The Ravens blew that big lead and lost. And I'm a big Tua guy. I'm very high on Tua this year. I think he's going to make some noise with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and he did yesterday. They combined for a ton of yards together. It was awesome because I had Waddle on my fantasy team, and then on my FanDuel, I won $9. So that was cool. And then later in the day, the Bengals surely aren't going to beat. They're going to beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys surely aren't going to beat the Bengals, right? And they did. Yeah. Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush. They go to 0-2, and the Steelers lost to the Patriots. Their offense looks like shit. So if this defense does not come out and smoke them on Thursday night, heads will roll. But if they come out and smoke them on defense and Mitch Trubisky looks like shit and no one's doing anything for the Steelers and it's, a double-digit game, this past Sunday never happened. It didn't happen, at least for another week. And then for 10 days, the Browns will sit in first place.
Yep.
Either tied or sole possession. That's it.
It's crazy.
And
it's crazy to think about.
Wouldn't it be? I think it would be sole possession because they would have the better division record because they'd be 1-0. The Steelers would go to 1-1.
If the Steelers would be 1-1, and Baltimore.
Yeah. So the Browns would be number one in the division for at least 10 days, and then you go to Atlanta, and then back on track.
Yeah,
I'm very optimistic. I was not mad after I saw the craziness, and then you had the Raiders blowing their lead, the Cardinals. That was crazy. That's just the NFL. Yes, it sucks. This loss is going to sting for a long time. I'm going to think about this every now and then for the rest of my life and just like, are you kidding me? A minute 55 and you blow a 13-point lead after you just scored. Okay. With Joe Flacco, it was like Grandpa Joe and the kids running around out there. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Mitchell. Corey Davis isn't that young anymore, but he's younger. Like, holy hell. But I'm at peace with it because the NFL is so crazy. Anything can happen, as we saw yesterday on Sunday afternoon. Anything can happen. It's not over to the clock. It's triple digits. So if you're the Browns on Thursday, it's a statement game. And now what the best part about it is that I'm debating if I want to write about it or if I'll just tweet about it. I haven't decided if I want to put it into that many words.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger is gone, he's not here to haunt us anymore.
Yeah.
There's no more Ben Roethlisberger. There's no more 24-2 or whatever the hell record he is. He is 0-1 against the Browns in the playoffs. He is that. There is no more him. There's Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. And Mason Rudolph's still somehow there. And then their offense has scored 2 touchdowns in 2 games. The Browns offense scores touchdowns at will. Their defense isn't much without J.J. Watt. I am past the Jets. That loss sucks. It's going to haunt us for the rest of our lives. But the Steelers are on Thursday, and when people are watching this right now, that's 2 days away.
It's 2 days. And remember this. This is an interesting part about the offense that we thought would struggle. They scored 56 points. I don't care who they were against. You scored 56 points. I was wondering if score more than 20 a game. Like that's where this offense with Brissett was.
That was the consensus, right? That was the general consensus. The defense would hold the other team low, and can Brissett lead down for Cade York to kick the field goal, or can he get somebody in the end zone late in the game? And we saw it in week 1. A lot of people, someone said that he was trash, that he couldn't complete the drive. That was trash. That's inaccurate, because first off, he shouldn't have been in that position. Second off, he just did that same thing last week, and Cade York kicked a bomb of a field goal, and they went to 1-0. We won our first, game in week 1 in 18 years, and then here's 2-0. It's right there for us, and then Jacoby throws that pick. That's not on him.
No.
That's one of the best professional games he has played in his career.
There were some throws, man. There were some throws and some reads and some scrambles into throws where I was just like, that's a starting quarterback right there. Like
and they said that during the game. He's a starter. He looks at himself as a starting quarterback. He's not a placeholder. He's just the quarterback for today and then tomorrow. And he's going to be for the next, 8 weeks or
9.
Longer than that.
Yeah, 8 or 9 because of the bye week.
10 weeks.
Yeah, the bye week and all that. Yeah, but it's like you're out there, and I'm just saying, like, listen, they're getting pressure on the quarterback. If they can and JOK is that defensive backfield blew it for JOK to remind the world that dude can ball, and Anthony Walker's balling right now too. So you're back there at linebacker. You're just telling me if the defensive backs who are talented, these guys are talented. That's why I'm so mad. You're talented. You should be out there. Brissett is out. If Brissett plays like that for the next, what has he got? 9 games.
Yep.
They should win 5 or 6 of those.
They should, yes. And that's the target. 4 to 6 was the target. You don't need them to win. Obviously, 7 or higher, that's a bonus. Anything after that is a bonus. If he were to somehow go 8-3 by the graces of the football gods, okay, great. That is fantastic. Let's tone it back to realism.
Yep.
And anywhere from 4 wins to 6 wins is the target, because then, any amount of that, you have Deshaun for 7 games. No, sorry, 6 games.
6, yeah.
And then, maybe 9 wins gets you in this crowded AFC. 10 wins might get you in if you get to 5 wins and he goes 5-1. What if he goes 6-0 and then they're 6 and whatever? Then they will go 12-5.
It gets wild. And I will say this, boy, the Amari's not a number 1 anymore crowd took a freaking hit yesterday, didn't they? My goodness, that dude, 10 targets, 9 catches, 101 yards and a touchdown. Here's a trivia for you. Prior to some of the games, some of the games letting out, he had the highest. He ended up having the 2nd highest receiving grade in the NFL this week.
Oh, who
do you think had a higher one by 0.1?
Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle?
Kadarius Hodge.
Oh, former Browns legend.
You did not see that one coming because I didn't either.
I would never have guessed him in my life, honestly.
Never. But yeah, Amari had like a 90.5. Like, I mean, it was
101 yards. Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's on 10 targets. And he was just, I mean, go back and watch that connection. Like he is Brissett and him, like whatever was going on week 1 is not indicative of the relationship that's going to be there.
That's another thing they talked about in the broadcast is Brissett watched the tape and was like, holy shit, you were open a bunch. How do I get you the ball? How do I maneuver? Like, how am I supposed to do this and this? And they learn from each other. And that's what they do. Hey, Man, my bad. I missed you a bunch. You were open a shit ton. There, oh, there, in there. Oh, there's another play. If the defense did that after week 1, we don't talk about blown coverages, and that's going to be the key word. And, we don't talk about cover 2s and cover 3s. I want to be honest with you. I don't know what cover 2 and cover 3 is. I'm a huge football fan. I love football. That's one of the things I live for, is to talk and write about football and to watch football. I don't know the schemes and shit like that. I know some things, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, they're in cover 2. Oh, they need to be in cover 3. I don't know shit like that. I'm just going to say that right now. I know how to watch things and talk about them and react. So I'm sick of already hearing those words. But all the defense has to do is be like, oh, man, I messed that up completely. I thought we were in this and we were in this, and how do we fix it? Boom, and it's fixed. And Thursday's the perfect thing. The new era of the Browns versus Steelers. The new era. There's no Ben Roethlisberger to haunt us. There's no Baker Mayfield, who had a tiny bit of success, the biggest success for a Browns quarterback against the Steelers in the playoffs when it mattered.
Mm-hmm.
None of that. The slates are clean. They will see Deshaun Watson at the end of the year. So there's that. But if Brissett plays like he did this past week and the defense holds up, this is going to be a 2-touchdown game. And that's why I'm very at peace with yesterday's over. And I was getting through to Zach and a couple other guys on our network. Shout out to all them. I was like, I get it.
Yep.
Piss. Go to sleep. Wake up. It's a new day. We are tied for first in the division. Everyone's
Pittsburgh coming to your house on Thursday.
And then Thursday we don't have to get through the whole work week. We get through 4 days of it, and then okay, great, we're watching football, and they win. This loss means nothing for the time being. We just go back like, yeah, we beat the Steelers. Fuck the Steelers. Oh, and player X, Y, and Z played well, and then we're back to, hey, we're getting 6-7%, and then it'll be up and down from there, and
clean it up, figure it out, talk, get rid of the ego. Get rid of the ego, get rid of the attitude. You all suck. That's my opinion. I don't care whose damn fault it was blowing the coverage. None of y'all should be blowing coverages at this point. Figure it out, clean it up, give that ball to 24 and 27 and 2 and 85 and 7. Just lead your team the way you led them on Sunday. I'm not ready to give up. I'm upset, and you should be upset.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm at peace with it. I'm at peace with. I'm not saying like, oh, cool, they lost. That's awesome. Yeah. No. I'm moving on because I'm trying to be in the mindset in my personal and professional life where I'm just like, you know what? I can't control that.
Nope.
That happened yesterday. First off, I can't control shit. I just watch the games and I root, and I think I have these rituals that help us win, and it didn't work yesterday. It backfired. It was just strange. But now I'm gonna get in my same get up on Thursday night. I'm gonna get my orange Nike sweatpants. I'm gonna wear this sweet almond shirt of Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett. Get yours. Find the links all over. In the comments. Find the links. All over Network 216 on Twitter. And I'm gonna wear my Denzel Ward jersey over top of this. And I'm going to wear my other Browns hat that's not this one. And I'm going to drink some pumpkin beer because it is the season of pumpkin beer. And that's what I was drinking earlier. The Zombies from New Trail Brewing. So I don't know if you guys get that where you're at in Ohio, but if you find that, I highly suggest the good pumpkin beers. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be tweeting about it. I'm going to be talking to you guys in group chats about it. I'm going to be yelling in my house. We're here. It's fine. Here. The NFL is crazy. Look how many teams are 1-1. The Bears beat the 49ers in week 1. Upsets are going to happen. That was a fluke, and of course it happened to the Browns. And that's annoying. Like, that's another thing that people can be like, "Oh, you guys lost to the Jets, and you guys shut the fuck. We know. I get it. Shut up. It's over. Now it's over. All right, Steelers are in 2 days. Let's whoop their ass because I hate them. I hate the Steelers more than anything."
And I think that's the best place to end this. So, Eddie, I appreciate you jumping on here with me. You can check out Eddie's podcast over on the network, The Petty Eddie Show, as well as this every day for me and the Barking Browns will be live tonight, 8 o'clock on the network 216 Twitch. Guys, we appreciate you hanging out hang out with us a little bit this morning, and we will talk to you guys next time. Go Browns.
Go Browns.